On a corner lot on the south side of Marfa sits the Blackwell School. Operating from 1909 to 1965, the once segregated school for Mexican-American students now housing the stories of its pupils.
I think we all have good memories and bad memories, but that's just the way it is.
Stepping inside the schoolhouse, you get a glimpse into what school was like.
It was very enjoyable.
Photos, old desks, and memorabilia, such as hand-me-down sports gear from the white school in town.
We didn't feel the difference until we went to high school.
One difference, a paddle named Sputnik.
When you got caught speaking Spanish, I remember because I myself got caught. And all they did was just give you one whack of the paddle.
Or the tiny symbolic coffin named Mr. Spanish, much like the one a teacher had her students bury after writing, "I will never speak Spanish," on a tiny slip of paper.
We just buried it. We didn't really understand the concept, I think, about it until much later.
Do you think it was right, what they did?
Now I don't. I know it wasn't right, but at the time, like I said, we really didn't realize the impact it would have on us.
Impact felt by generations to follow.
Those were decades of not talking about it and sort of instilling in their children and ultimately their grandchildren that they shouldn't speak Spanish, that they should be English speakers to get ahead. As you know, there's a whole generation of Texans who don't speak Spanish for that reason.
A lot of people to this day resent that idea, But when I look back, I can see the intention behind it.
Good intention with what today would be called bad execution, but the experience belonging to the alumni of the Blackwell School.
When we went to basketball games or football games, there's little towns there that wouldn't rent a motel room to us. We had to sleep in the gymnasium.
Alumni who would not see their history buried by the district, which had plans to tear down the unused building in the early 2000s.
And it was that spark, it took that action by the school district and a really, really dedicated group of alumni who came together and said, "You're not going to tear that school down."
For more than a decade now, the Blackwell School Alliance continues to bring on other supporters of this sometimes overshadowed story in our nation's history.
To my knowledge, it's one of the very few schools that actually remain standing in a way that allows it to be preserved as a museum.
The Alliance now working to pass a bill through Congress, which would allow the Blackwell School to become a national park site, a first of its kind site that would tell part of the history of the Latino experience in America.
It really is huge. The National Park Service, I think, is America's greatest storyteller. But in a lot of ways, I think the system is not wholly reflective of the real American experience. There were schools like this throughout the country that Latino students, that Mexican-American students attended. At the end of the day, what it will provide is validation.
Validation that comes with the ticking clock.
There is a bit of urgency, I think, around trying to establish the site because, very unfortunately, we're losing the folks who can provide those firsthand stories of what they experienced at the Blackwell School.
Stories of discrimination, perseverance, and joy that will not go untold.
It feels like, in a way, an ending for a long period of work by these former students to save their school, but it's really just a beginning in the possibility of all the stories that can and should be told.
So together, we can all rise. Audrey Gasoreno, KENS 5.